The first shot we're going to talk about is the long exposure. Ideally, you'd want a tripod for taking long exposures because holding the camera while taking a picture with a slow shutter speed will cause blurriness. If you don't have a tripod, you can improvise like we did and find a flat surface that's steady. You want your exposure to be open longer to capture a blurry or moving object. You typically find this in waterfalls and light trails. You want your shutter speed set at anything longer than a second to capture the moving subjects.
The next shot we're going to be talking about is the rule of thirds. The rule of thirds is one of the first things that beginner photographers learn about in photography, and rightly so, as it can help you create well-balanced and interesting shots. Rules are meant to be broken in photography, so rule of thirds isn't always the best composition you want to choose, but for certain shots it works very well. As many know, rule of thirds is lining your subject up on one of the two vertical lines.
The next shot type we're going to go over is reflection. To get a good reflection picture, you want to find a reflective surface. In ours, we used the reflection off the river to capture a unique perspective of the tree branch. Water is one of the best ways to get a reflection picture, even if it's a small amount of water. Ice is another good source for reflection pictures. It is important to include an interesting subject when taking reflection pictures. Another tip is to try to get as close to the water as you can to create a mirror-like effect.
Depth of field is another photography shot that is used in every photo. If you use a shallow depth of field, your subject is the main focus in the foreground and your background is out of focus, creating a blurry effect. If you are taking a landscape shot, you want a deep depth of field to capture all the elements in focus. As you see in this image, we had a very shallow depth of field, which created the tree looking very sharp with a soft, out of focus background.
When taking action shots of a person, it is important to incorporate their face in the picture to create emotion. If your camera is capable, take shots in bursts. This way you are more likely to get the shot you want. When taking action shots, you want to have a fast shutter speed to avoid blurry images. The shutter speed used in this picture was 1/200th of a second.
For portraits, you want to capture your subject in a very natural space, and we included a bike in this image because it fits Joe and his personality well. Settings can vary from a formal indoor environment to a more casual outdoor location, family home, a studio, or even a subject's workplace. Also, when considering backgrounds, remember that the focus should always be on the subject, so choose a setting that is passive or complements and enhances the theme and mood of the photograph. For this photo of Joe, we kept the background blurry and kept him in focus, shooting it at an aperture of f2.8.